Okay, so the next anime we're going to be talking about is Witch Hat Atelier. Atelier? I think that's what that's called. I... Okay, before I say anything, I do really like this anime. I think it's good. I think it's pretty. I think it's. I do think it's great. I do not hate any of the anime that are on the list that I'm talking about right now. And I think the lowest thing I'd probably give most of the animes this season, unironically, is probably like a 7 out of 10. Even a 7.5. I think 7.5 I think is more reasonable. Witch Hat, for me though, I think because I've just consumed so much anime, I appreciate it for the little tweaks and the little things it does, but I think for the overall premise of it, I don't overall care. I don't know if that makes sense I don't know if that makes sense at all for what I'm trying to say. Because basically, Witch Hat, I'm just going to call it Witch Hat because I'm not going to lie. I do not know what the fuck the last name for that is. Atelier, Alira, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm gonna be so honest. I'm very illiterate when it comes to wit like that because I look at that and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that says. But Witch Hat, to me, is a very visually pleasing anime. Everything about it is good. Like, it hits a lot of good beats. The pacing's nice. We got cut through the bullshit very fast because the first episode we get like the girl and her background and what happened to her and her curious for magic and how that kind of backfired and how she kind of has trauma that she's now thrown into a world that she doesn't really know. I like that aspect. I like the aspect of the character of this hidden world, and like she doesn't really know all of it yet. She doesn't know the secrets and she doesn't know like all of the craziness to it. Hi Pico, how you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful time. And thank you for the likes on the TikTok side. I appreciate it. I like it. Thank you for giving me the likes there. But yeah, Witch Hat, like the main character for the main character, just the main character because it's a bunch of girls. But the main character, good. That's good to hear, man. I appreciate. I'm happy. I'm glad that you're doing good, man. But the main character, I mean, like, it's all good. Main character's all good. The way that she gets thrust into the world's all good. I love, like, just the very secrets. I think, for me, why this just didn't, like, hit me as hard as other people, because I know in the beginning of the season, man, everybody wanted this. Everybody wanted this. It was, like, because, like, visually it was really cool, and, like, the premise is really straightforward, and the magic system is really good. The magic system, I think, is the main reason why I fell in love with the show, because I love the fact that it gets so in-depth, it has reasoning, it makes sense, and that's what I think is the strongest point for the show. But I think everything else, again, it may just be I've watched everything, I've just watched so much shit in my lifetime, but when I look at Witch Hat, I look at it and I'm just like, it's good, but there's nothing like out the gate that like blows me away. I like the world, I like all that stuff, but it's all those things where it's just like, yeah, there's like the typical presence of like main character gets thrown into a world they don't necessarily understand, and now they have to navigate that, but they have some type of special aspect about them that makes them stand out in the world. I think the thing is, it wasn't until episode like 3 I really got to appreciate that, but it wasn't, but like for the first 2 episodes, like I saw it and it was intense, don't get me wrong, and a lot of the visuals like did really help with that, and a lot of the little secrets hidden at that, but I don't think it was till episode like the end of episode 2 to like episode 3 where I'm like, I see the tweaks they're doing with the formula.
Mike Monkey-L2M8Y said, hi.
Hi, Mike Moki. How you doing over on YouTube? I hope you're having a good day, and I hope you're having a good chat. Right now, we're just going through the late first impressions for spring 2026. Since I stopped reviewing the stuff for a while, and now we're getting back into it. So, join, chit chat. I hope you have a good day. I hope if you just stopped for like a little bit, thank you for stopping by. But if you want to chit chat, be happy. It'd be good to have you. But yes, so the Witch Hat follows what I think is like the typical shonen formula, or like the typical shonen action formula. It doesn't feel like it, but it does follow something of that sense of being like there and around and all that stuff. Like it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I definitely saw it and I'm like, okay, what's gonna make this stand out to me? What's going to really make this show be the thing that makes me like, oh, okay, I'm kind of into this. And there's a few things for me. One is how it approaches its magic system. I fucking love what it does with its magic system. And the lore behind it as well. Where, you know, when everyone was able to learn magic and everyone was able to use it, obviously it causes wars, it causes problems. So a small group of wizards got together and was like, hey, we're going to basically make magic just exclusive thing. Not for an elitist type of reason, but we need to protect it from the world because obviously the world does not know how to fucking use this shit. And so there are only a few select people who get to use magic who are able to be trusted with the secret. Now obviously there are certain situations where, like, you know, the MC is thrust into this world. Normal circumstances she would get her power erased, but because she has some knowledge or information about a particular person, she needs to be kept and now actually be stronger because now she has a direct connection to, I would assume, is like a dark wizard, which I'm just gonna say it here. I think it's the MC's dad. I just think it is. I think the MC's dad is 100% the wizard because they mentioned that, like, oh, your dad died so long ago, blah blah blah, from sickness and illness and stuff like that. And so I think it's going to be the person's dad who is probably a small cog in like a greater thing. So I think we'll get to that point where, like, MC has to go against the dad. Dad is like part of a bigger system. Dad gets murked trying to help daughter last minute. Daughter is like, okay, my dad is fucking gone. I still need to save my mother, but now I'm going to avenge my father who like tried to do these things for me, blah 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 blah. Those type of things, you know? Because why was this specific little girl chosen? Was it by fate? I don't think it was by fate. I think she has some connection to this dark wizard type creature thing. Wizard type creature thing, you know what I mean? And so, the big thing for me with this is that it's very particular with the way that it does its magic. Where it's peculiar. So it has a system where it's like you have magic's not like casted or anything. It's drawn, and so you have like the sigil, you have the like symbols around it that direct towards direction or power, and then you have the full circle that actually like activates the spell. Even if you're off by a little bit, if you don't complete the circle, the spell does not work. If some part is too long, then you won't be able to actually use like the magic. You can draw on clothing, you can draw on items, but you can't draw on your body, and you can't cast magic that is potentially going to harm somebody, with certain exceptions, i.e. if someone ends up finding out about how the ways to use magic, you can use a spell to erase their minds, because the greater good of keeping magic a secret is more than trying to keep that person safe. So, like, it has rules. It has actual processes where it's like, okay, you can use magic, but you can only use it if it's a specific ink. If you do this, if you do that, you have to follow these rules. And I like that because it makes that world grounded. It makes that world make sense, and there's rules. And so, like, when you're navigating towards that world, you could be like, oh, that person is doing something with magic that's forbidden. They're probably not great. Or there's somebody who may be a little wishy-washy depending on it. Now, what I kind of hope is, I hope that we have somebody who's kind of in the middle. Because it seems like the person who gave the MC the magical book is somebody who is kind of not necessarily evil, but someone who's definitely trying to cause a lot of chaos. And I think in that sense, even though I said, like, oh, there's a lot of animes that are doing the ambiguous, like, they're not doing just the straight up good, straight up bad, they're doing, like, the ambiguous stuff. And I can't see it here, because it seemed like the Wizarding world, even though they are being kind of ambiguous, they're good, there might be a little bit ambiguity to them in how they operate and interact. But at the same time, though, they're probably doing that in order for like a greater good. Kind of how like people can be like evil, like oh my god, is it neutral evil? No. Oh my god. What is the D&D square of like personalities? I think it was like lawful evil. There we go. Where there's some people who are probably lawful good, there are people who are probably not for lawful neutral. There are probably people in the wizarding world that are lawful evil. But because they are lawful and they're trying to follow the laws, it's kind of like yeah, he might be doing kind of something shitty, but at the same time, like he might have wiped out a whole village, but that whole village was also wanting to share the secrets of magic, which would have kind of put us back to square one. So maybe, man, you know, all that stuff. And which is like, hey, that's kind of probably not good. It's like, yeah, but the magic world, which, by the way, this is not me condoning that. Any what's up? Any recommended anime? Yes, I do have some recommended anime. Cyberpunk Enders Runners, it's really good if you haven't watched it. Violet Evergarden, it's really good if you haven't watched it. I would recommend Oshinoko. There is some stuff in season 3 that have made me redact that, but if you're willing to deal with some weird shit in season 3, Oshinoko, ReZero if you haven't watched it. Some underground pulls. Hypnosis Mic, if you're really into like hip hop and rap music, especially of the Japanese variety, that's really good. It's not really. Oh no, Vivi Fluid Eye Song, also a really good recommendation. What's another good recommendation I can give? I'm trying to think of some other good recommendations. I had one. Oh, some oldies. Samurai Champloo, that's a good one. Bobobo, that's also a good one. There's so much, but there's some for you to start off because those are some really good ones. Those are some really good ones that I think are great. But yeah, there's like a whole lot of stuff that I feel like I just feel like the world, I wouldn't say isn't ready for, but we definitely have a lot of interactions of people being like kind of meh, which I think we'll find out in later seasons. But I do like the rules. I do like the aspects. I do like them very much locking down and trying to be like, hey, you can't do this. This is how magic works. Because we even see in like the third episode when she's forced to take the trial after Gerolf, I think his name was. I almost called him Gojo because people keep calling him Wizard Gojo, but that's not the case. But I think his name is Gerolf. Where Gerolf leaves, and so his like main apprentice throws the MC into like the trial where she shouldn't have. Which again, another battle shonen, magical shonen trope where it's like, oh, you come here, like you're an outsider to this world, and you're not welcome. You need the true test to see. It's not as aggressive as that, but we definitely see like some things like there's that trope, but it does feel different. I assume they'll get over their fucking grievances at some point, but that's like that big thing, which is very it's very shonen coded, definitely battle shonen coded, but she has to take a test where she needs to go deep into this like world to actually like get a flower, right? And you even see her, well, she's tempted, right? Obviously she's not part of the wizarding world, so she doesn't have the same disciplines, she doesn't have the same disciplines, she doesn't have the same like training, she doesn't have the same anything that growing up in the wizarding world would let you have. So instead of that, she's very tempted by being like, instead of like drawing this sigil or this spell on my shoes, I can just kind of draw it on my feet. But she's trying to stay proper and true. And so this is where I like, this is the second thing I like them deviating from. Because most like other shonens would be like, oh, he's special because he has a special bloodline, or oh, he's special because they got some shit. She's special because in the first episode, we see her that she's able to like very much be very precise with like her cutting of clothing, her doing all this stuff. Like when it comes to like mending and creating clothing, she's very precise with it. And even Geralt sees that. He's like, oh, for a youngster, like, your cutting is nice, the lines are precise, it's quite literally almost like a master fucking did this. And so we see that being like, okay, I might not be able to do this with like a pen, paper, do all that stuff with the typical stuff, but maybe I can like take the ink and draw it like I was drawing on like cloth, like I was cutting it. She does that, and boy, she's able to make tools, she's able to do all this cool stuff. It's actually really awesome seeing that whole interaction and how she's able to do that. And it's just like, oh, that's nice, actually. That's like a little fun thing that she can do with that. And I really appreciated that. It's really fun. It's honest. It is actually like a fun little thing to do. So I very much appreciated that from seeing all that stuff. There's definitely different little deviations from Witch Hat that I really like that make it special. That make it like, you are taking somewhat of like the Battle Shonen formula and you're adding you're adding more to it, which I like. Which that's also appreciated. There's never anything wrong with following a formula, but if you follow the formula, just try to add your little bit of spices. Make things feel different, make things feel like, make these things feel like your own. And I think Witch Hat has done a really, really good job with that. Especially since, like, you have devices like the whole, like, water beacon where you, like, you write the sigil on the top and you can activate it, or you can write on the shoes and you put it together and it will fly and all that stuff. Friday Night Funkin'? Unfortunately, it's not a Friday Night Funkin' stream. This is going to be just an anime, session talk screen, because that's, again, I like playing the FNAF games. I got the rhythm games, and don't worry, we're gonna be playing many other rhythm games, because I got the Hatsune Miku rhythm game. I have Muse Dash that I play. I might get Taiko no Taijumi, which is the drum rhythm game. So we're gonna be playing a lot of different rhythm games. But I also know Friday Night Funkin' is also my bread and butter as well. Also, hopefully, I'll be announcing that I'll be making a Discord where we can actually properly put in like requests for mods and stuff like that. So hopefully, that's what we do.
Mad said, always liked sigil type magic systems.
Yes, sigil type magic systems are really good because I feel like other animes.
The _real_to_mad said, reason why I watched Owl House when it was airing.
Oh, I actually didn't know that the Owl House had sigil magic. There's a smaller anime that I watched called I think it was like Magical Girls Could Not Be Magicians. It was super niche. I'm talking about like super niche, no one knows about it, which is also kind of weird because the band Hi Hi Puffy Amy Yumi did the opening for that, which I thought was also another fucking random pull. But it also had like somewhat of sigil magic where you at least had to draw it with the magic wand and stuff like that. But like Witch Hat is way more in depth. It is way more in depth than that, and I love it so fucking much. I love this so much for what it does and how it interacts with it. It's so good. Also, Tio, I hope you're having a good day as well. I hope you're having a very good day, and I hope you're doing well. Because I haven't seen you for a minute, but Jesus Christ. But I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing good. But yeah, Witch Hat, again, initially, I liked the animation. I like what it does. It had some potential. It wasn't until episode 3 where I'm like, oh, okay. It still follows the Battle Shonen formula, but I see it's doing very different and special things, which I appreciate. So, Witch Hat, personally, it's not in my, like, top 3 for the season, but it's definitely fucking good. It's definitely good. And again, I think most of what I've watched is really good. I know there are some duds out there this season. I think people who have watched the Liar's Game have said it's like not great, but like, there are definitely some shows out there that are duds. But spring season has been a fucking banger. I don't know why, don't know how, but it's been fucking good. It's been fucking great. There's so much good shit. And you know what? We're about to go on to the next good shit. So give me a minute while I switch the pictures again.
The _real_to_mad said, IDK, it just feels less ass-pulling in sigil-based magic systems. My gripe against fantasy animes lately, it usually the magic systems is just awful.
Yeah, I get that's true. I think that's why I like Witch Hat, because it'll feel like less bullshit with it being sigil magic. I think I can get it if it's. I think I could be okay with it if it's like chanting magic, right? If it's just like, you know, like Alapru, Godestia, because it's still a way of casting. But I feel like other magic anime have just been like, look at this thing that I could do, ha! It's just like, okay, all right, cool. Like, no casting, no chanting, no sigils, no spells. Just, hey, I have this magic staff that could just fucking, ha! And it's like, I'd at least like a reason. Like, it's one thing, because at least, like, again, it's not a magic fantasy anime, but at least something like Full Metal Alchemist had the thing of like, yeah, if you don't know alchemy like that, you have to like draw the sigil. You have to draw the alchemy circle. But if you were able to see like God and he was able to give you that knowledge, yeah, you could clap your hands to do that. But that's also because you got a massive amount of information that did not belong to everybody, and you had to give up a lot to get that knowledge. A lot to get that fucking knowledge. But yes, I'm going to switch over real quick, so give me a second.